Welcome to today's home retreat, which is entitled Being Present. There's a beautiful poem by the Welsh poet O.S. Thomas called The Bright Field. It tells the story of someone on a journey. Their attention is caught by a beautiful field caught in the sun. But he's in a hurry, eager to get on to where he feels he needs to go. So he rushes on and forgets the field. But later on he realizes that that was the field with the treasure in it, that had the pearl of great price, if only he could have appreciated it. He realizes that that treasure is worth selling all he has to possess it. It's worth everything. And it is to be found by those who have the ability to stop their headlong journey and to appreciate what God places in front of them now. The poem goes like this. I have seen the sun break through to illuminate a small field for a while, and gone my way and forgotten it. But that was the pearl of great price, the one field that had the treasure in it. I realize now that I must give all that I have to possess it. Life is not hurrying on to a receding future, nor hankering after an imagined past. It is the turning aside, like Moses, to the miracle of the lit bush, to a brightness that seemed as transitory as your youth once, but is the eternity that awaits you. We've all of us experienced our own versions of that bright field. We are already finding what we're looking for, perhaps have already found much more than we are aware of. Because often we move on too quickly through life and miss the best that life has to offer, miss the Lord standing, knocking at the door of our lives. We're so eager, we're in such a hurry to find what we're looking for that we miss it. We skim over it and move on, or merely glance as we run past. We miss what we're looking for because we're in too much of a rush to find it. It's the stopping that makes the difference, the trusting, the letting be, the noticing, the accepting, having the patience to let life be as it is, without imposing our own expectations on it, allowing life time to reveal its true riches. Most of the time we live life in the past and in the future, but rarely simply in the present as it is. We rarely appreciate the present, where we are now. I think it's a lesson that we learn slowly. In the book of Genesis, Jacob, who's at a very low point in his life, falls asleep and literally awakens to God's presence to him, even at that low moment in his life. He exclaims, "Truly God is in this place, and I never knew it. Truly this is an awesome place, right now." Perhaps our invitation is to open our eyes to the presence of God in our lives now, to see what lies waiting to be discovered and appreciated now. There's a scene in the film The Colour Purple where two of the main characters are walking through a field of purple flowers. And one of them turns to the other and says, I think it peeves God to walk through a field like this and not give thanks. We're invited to open our eyes to the wonder of our lives, the richness of our lives now, to see all that is already there if we look with the eyes of appreciation. As T.S. Eliot puts it in Little Gidding, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Thomas Merton once said, "We already have all we need, we just don't know it." There's a very simple yet beautiful Chinese poem called The Best Season, which goes like this. 10,000 flowers in spring, the moon in autumn, a cool breeze in summer, snow in winter. If your mind isn't clouded by unnecessary things, this is the best season of your life. It's that decision to allow this moment, this sacred moment, this moment when God is present, to allow life as it is now, in all its imperfection, yet beauty, to be enough. Because it's the way God comes to us now. As the poet David White puts it, enough. These few words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here. This opening to the life we have refused again and again until now. Until now. It's what the famous Jesuit Jean-Pierre de Caussade called the sacrament of the present moment. He says, the divine will is a deep abyss of which the present moment is the entrance. If you plunge into this abyss, you will find it infinitely more vast than your desires. We are invited to come home to the one who is already there waiting for us now. Matthew the Poor once said that faith in Christ is not a theory, it's a power that changes lives. We don't pull Christ towards us from heaven by prayer. Rather, he says, we discover him within us, within ourselves. In prayer, we discover that he stands at the door of our hearts, that he is always knocking until we open our door to him. And if we respond, he will enter our lives to raise us from the dead and to bring us out from the world of darkness. It is his invitation to us now, today, if we are present. So just to leave some questions with you. How much precious time do I waste rejecting life as it is, wishing my life away, constantly moving on, looking for something different? How much is my life centered on and preoccupied by things that don't really matter so much? When is the last time I have let myself simply be, to stop pushing and rushing, to rest and accept life as it is now? How much do I actually listen, let my life be guided by another, or simply spend time in his presence? And lastly, what are the bright fields I have already encountered? How have I found the treasure in the field? What gifts has life given me? Moments and things and people to treasure. Perhaps take time to remember them and give thanks. And to leave the last word to a poem written by David Adam called Speak, Lord. In the silence of the stars, in the quiet of the hills, in the heaving of the sea, speak, Lord. In the stillness of this room, in the calming of my mind, in the longing of my heart, speak, Lord. In the voice of a friend, in the chatter of a child, in the words of a stranger, speak, Lord. In the opening of a book, in the looking at a flower, in the listening to music, speak, Lord, for your servant listens. And may God bring you his blessing during this day. Thank you.